Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Happy New Year. Hope your 2022 is off to a fantastic start. Welcome back to Ask the Girl from Schenectady. I am your host, Aduayo Magic Hodumi, aka Ayo Magic, the girl from Schenectady. So as you noticed, I didn't show a clip from my one-woman show on this episode. That's because this is a very special segment. We're going to be talking about 3 different topics on this episode. That's right. Not 1, not 2, but 3. So we have a lot to talk about. Plus, I have some exciting news regarding my new project. So you definitely want to stick around and know what's going on with that. So let's get to it. So our first topic today is there a difference between a man pursuing, chasing, or courting a woman? Well, let's hear from the amazing male and female panel on this one.
I know with chasing, it can definitely come off probably like more so like just doing too much. I can't really put it in words, but probably doing too much. Like they probably just need to like take it back a little notch. I would consider that chasing. Pursuing, I would say, is being like consistent, expressing interest and being intentional. And I would say courting and pursuing are similar, because when you're courting, you're pursuing them, and you're being intentional as well. But chasing is definitely, I would say, is what it sounds like. It's just you chasing that person and they're like, running away kind of thing. So
I've chased women like a couple of times at their request, and I noticed like that's always wrong. Never do that, because like if a lot of the time women will tell you they love to be chased, but like again, it could lead to you just doing too much, and it makes me feel wrong. Like my most recent situation, was like a woman that told me she loved being chased. And first of all, she was 30. I'm like, you 30. Chasing is like the games you play when we 21. We have the energy, but like I don't have time to chase you. Either you with the program or you went, and she was really beautiful and very intelligent. I entertained the idea for a couple of weeks and stuff, maybe a month or so. Then when I realized I was always the one calling, always the one texting first, that was another ghosted situation. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to dub that, because it's like I feel like I'm doing way too much here. So, yeah, I think, so chasing, that's definitely like you doing too much. She basically don't want you, but she haven't said those exact words yet. So you a little confused and you keep moving around. And pursuing, I think you've been given enough information to keep at it. And then you just keep going and being persistent in that case. And I think when I think of courting, I think of like the 1960s. I give your dad like 3 goats and 2 chickens and say, I want to marry your daughter. And that's what I think.
That Woods. You gotta love him, right? Okay, so I agree with both sides of the panel, but mostly Ashley. I have to say that I totally agree with what Ashley said. I think pursuing and courting is pretty much similar to the same thing. Pursuing is when a man is interested in something real. Like he's pursuing you because there's something there, there's chemistry, you have things in common. Maybe, you have something in common with this woman and you decide you want to pursue her, and the effort of it turning to something more serious, like a commitment, a long-term relationship, or even marriage. And that's what pursuing is. And courting is basically the same thing. Courting is, a man pursuing a woman that he wants to marry, someone that he wants to spend his life with, someone he wants to, be with for a long-term, situation. So I would say, Ashley had it correct. I would say that pursuing and courting is similar to the same thing. However, chasing, in my opinion, is basically a man going after a woman for the wrong reasons, maybe because she's hard to get, maybe she's ignoring him. Maybe, you know, if a woman's ignoring you and you're not, you know, you maybe like for an ego thing, men, you know, love to get their ego stroked, you know, and sometimes they just want to chase, you know, a woman because they want to feel like they won. It wants to make them feel good, like they can get any woman they want. So they just chase this woman, but it's only in an effort to just win her and then maybe just have sex with her. Maybe it's just like a sexual relationship, but nothing really long term. So that's just my opinion on what that is. All right. So our next topic is, why are you single? Well, I've been asked this question a million times, and I thought I would ask my male and female panel what they felt about this question. Let's take a look and see what they had to say.
Well, it's a number of reasons. Well, I've never really dated intentionally. So I never really dated nobody like with minds of me being married. If anything, is I always dated to, if I did date somebody, I would date somebody who was below me so that I could always have an excuse to dip out. That's one. Two, but things have changed in my last, I'm 36 now, so things have kind of changed for me a lot in the last 6 months to the last year, you heard me? I'm becoming more intentional in things that I do. Yeah. And so me becoming more intentional, I'm recognizing where I have not been intentional at. But also I'm still discovering shit about myself, still healing traumas. I'm still learning about shit I deal with, like not being what you call that? Self-abandonment. I learned, I'm learning all kinds of shit about myself when it comes to me dating people. So
I have standards. And if I'm at a place where if I don't stick to those standards, I'll be miserable throughout the whole experience. So I'd rather just be happy and whole and stick to my standards. Even if I like that person a lot, which is what my last situation was. I really, really like this guy, but he wasn't meeting my standards. So I had to just cut ties.
What I don't like it is when I first meet somebody and they ask that as a, almost like not an icebreaker, but
what's wrong with you?
To figure out are you crazy or something wrong with you? That's what I don't like the question. Yeah. I hate that question in that context when you just meet a guy and it's so why are you single? It's as if you're trying to figure out if I'm single, because first of all, if I was crazy, it's not like I would say it. Or most of those people aren't aware enough to be able to kind of say anything that would, let you even be aware of that. But then it just always feels, especially when it's coming from guys, that it has an air of let me try to figure out if this girl is nutty or something. But for me, I just haven't met, I guess, the right person at the right time, right person who wants the same things that I want. That just hasn't happened yet. So.
Yep. Absolutely. I'm going to have to agree 100% with Sade. I do think that a lot of times this question is asked to us women, mostly us women and not men. Men don't really get asked why they're single, but us women tend to get this question a whole lot. And even though a lot of times men don't mean to ask it in a negative way, it comes out in a negative way. Because the way and the tone of the question is what's wrong with you? Why are you single? And I think that a lot of men don't mean it, but it does kind of come out that way sometimes, So I have to agree with Sade. But the truth, everybody's single for different reasons. We're all in different places and different stages in our lives. Some of us choose to be single. Some of us are single by default. Or some of us have not found the right person yet. We're dating, we're out there, but we don't, we haven't met the right person. And honestly, I have to tell you, I agree also with Diana on the female panel as well, because she made a really great point, and she said that she has standards, she has standards, and her standards will not allow her to just be with anyone. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of us women, including me, have standards, and we have boundaries, and there's certain things that we want and we need, especially when you're reaching mid 40s, reaching up to the 50s. When you're older, dating is definitely not the same as when you're younger. So it gets a little bit more challenging to meet and find someone. But the bottom line is everyone's single for a reason, and there's different reasons, and there's nothing wrong with being single. It's not a disease. Sometimes people talk about it like, you're still single? What's wrong with you? Psst, let me spray some holy water on you. You know, so it does sometimes come out in a negative way, even though people don't mean it to be negative. But I think that it's definitely okay to be single. There's nothing wrong with it. And on the right time, the right person will show up in your life. You know, just keep working on yourself and being the best version of yourself. That's how I feel. All right, now for my last topic. Meagan Good and Devon Franklin are divorced. Yeah, I know. I was heartbroken too. They were one of my favorite couples, you know, so it was heartbreaking. But you know what? The truth of the matter is, you know, they're not regular people. They're not mediocre people. They're not, you know, your typical Jack and Jill and Joe and Bob and or whatever you call it, you know, couples. Like, they're really high profile couples. They have a lot of demands on their life and their career, and I can imagine that it's a possibility that they're both evolving and they're both going in separate directions in their lives, and they're growing apart, and it's probably very challenging to stay together and see each other, because it seems like Devon's always traveling, Meagan's always traveling, you know, all this stuff going on individually in their lives, career-wise. And I think, in my opinion, the reason I think they possibly got divorced, I don't know, but possibly, is because their career took them in different, is taking them in different paths, and their purpose is taking them apart from each other. That's what I think. However, I do have to say I'm very disturbing and disappointed by some of the commentaries I've been listening to. A lot of people are saying, oh, I knew they weren't going to last. I knew they were going to get divorced. No, you didn't. You did not know they were going to get divorced. Don't even say that, okay? And second, people are just saying that they don't think Meagan was saved, and she was never saved, and she wasn't Christian enough, and Devon was, you know, controlling her and all this stuff. And no, he was not. He never controlled that girl. She lived her own life. She was herself from the beginning, and he wanted her to be herself. And he spoke very clearly about that he was never controlling her or anything like that, and that he wanted her to stay who she was, and not to be this typical, wife, married to a minister. So he spoke about that. So I don't think that's why. And I know a lot of people, and I actually do have to say this, that I actually met Meagan years ago, before she met Devon Franklin. She used to actually go to my old church, and that's how I met her. And I saw her, and she was there with her cousin periodically at my church. So I know for a fact she always had a strong connection and a strong relationship with God. So the reason they broke up is not because she wasn't saved and she was a partier and all this stuff. That's not why. Okay, so I just have to say that. And also, a lot of people are also speculating that it's because she couldn't have a baby, or she didn't want to have a baby, and Devon wanted to have a baby. That's not why either. I actually know for a fact, because I actually had a conversation with Meagan about that also, about having a baby, and she wanted to have a child. And she even froze her eggs, she froze her eggs to have children in the future. So I definitely don't believe that's why either. I believe they both wanted to have children. So, I just think everyone's speculating reasons why they got divorced, and that's most likely not. None of these reasons are the reasons why they are not together. So I think we need to just respect their privacy. I think we should just pray for Devon, because he's always praying for everybody else. He prays for all of us. So why don't we pray for him? That's what we should be doing. It's praying for them. Praying for both of them, that they get through this and that they get to the next chapter of their life, whatever that looks like. The place where God wants them to be, with or without each other. That's just how I feel. All right, and now for my special announcement regarding my play, Faith and Love. So as you guys know, I've been working on a play entitled Faith and Love, which is a Nigerian American romantic comedy, and it's very culturally diverse cast. And the play actually talks about a lot of the ups and downs in finding love, finding relationships, being happy, being in a marriage, staying in a marriage. And it's just a really kind of a lighthearted, optimistic love story from different angles. And I'm really excited because I'm going to be opening and premiering this show. Ready for it? May 22nd of 2022 at the Santa Monica Playhouse this year. I am so excited. It's only one performance, so you don't want to miss it. If you're out in the Los Angeles area around May, definitely come and check it out. And I will also be doing a lot of interviews and commentaries and topics and things like that about the show on my next few episodes this season of Ask the Girl from Schenectady. So you definitely want to tune in. Now, I also want to make sure I mention that I will be doing a special crowdfunding campaign to raise money for this project. So definitely look out for that. You definitely want to know about all the goodies and things you can get and prizes you can win by supporting. So on that note, that concludes today's episode of Ask the Girl from Schenectady. That was a lot. Thanks for sticking with me today. Now, you definitely want to tune into episode 20, the big 2-0, next week, because I will be doing a special edition where I will be giving my opinion and commentary on two very popular television shows, the season finale or series finale of Insecure, and the season finale of Own's Ready to Love. So you don't want to miss that. So I will be giving a commentary on both of those episodes. That's going to be episode 20. So you definitely want to stick around. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you felt about this episode. Let me know other topics that you'd want to see on the show. And as usual, you can follow me on Instagram. I am at Ayo Magic, and that is AYOMAJEK. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Talk to you later. Smooches.